Friends, family, and folks at home, welcome back to Book Yaps with Ash. I am Ash, and today, obviously, we're going to be talking about the books I read in October. Book Yaps with Ash. And October was a pretty fire reading month. Let's be real here. It was pretty good. I had a lot of fun, read a lot of different stuff, kind of, and I feel like it was like a long month in the sense that when I look back to some of these books, I'm like, oh, I read that in October. But then also, I feel like it went really quick, so I don't know. Don't know what to tell you about that. But let's get into it, and not in order because I don't want to. And something you should know about these videos is they are entirely unscripted. I try to make a script sometimes, and then I ironically forget how to read. And don't read the script and just yap. So you're getting whatever comes out of my mouth with no thought, really. Hope you like that. That's why it's called Book Yaps. All right, let's talk about the books I read in October. So I'm going to start with my least favorite of the month, actually. Get her out of the way. All right, and that is Haunting on the Hill by Elizabeth Hand. And like this one was like, it was fine. When I say least favorite, it wasn't bad. I finished it. I gave it 3 stars. So this is essentially, it's not a Hill House retelling, but it is like a visit into the Hill House world, and the house is Hill House. And this book is essentially about a playwright and her and her girlfriend and another person who's going to be in the play, and a famous actor who's going to be in the play. And she's writing this play. She's been given a grant, and she discovers Hill House accidentally. Basically, is driving through this town, ends up at Hill House, and is like, I have to use this grant on us finishing the play and rehearsing it in this house. So she gets in contact with a realtor of the town and rents Hill House for like a couple of weeks. And then they get there and weird stuff starts happening. Of course, because it's Hill House. And so full, huge disclosure, okay? I have not read The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. I've watched the Mike Flanagan show, and it is my favorite thing ever done for TV. But I've not read the book. So take everything I say here with a grain of salt. I don't know how similar this book is to the original. I don't know if there were nods to the original. I don't know anything, actually. But I found that this book started really creepy, had some really creepy elements, and then just didn't really deliver on answering any questions or like following through on the creepy elements. So yeah, I feel like it kind of started strong, and then just by the end I was like, whatever, kind of done with this. So like, it was okay. I feel like if you're a Hill House fan, you might like it or you might hate it. I have no idea. So maybe ask someone who's read Hill House and this book. I'm sure there are people out there, and they're not me. That's what I have to say about A Haunting on the Hill. I also listened to the audiobook for The Only One Left by Riley Sager. I've had this one on my list for a while, and then in conversations with Reese in the book club, he said that it made him really angry, and I wanted to find out why, so I listened to it. And I get it now, because this book, while it was fun to listen to, and I did enjoy it, absolutely waterboards you with twists. Like, there are twists after the end of every chapter. Not necessarily a twist, but like a new plot point that kind of like makes you think differently or whatever. But the end is just like twist after twist. I literally wrote down in my notes, the last twist is whatever. And then there was another twist. So it was fun, but it kind of took you out of it a bit. You're like, enough with the twists, Riley. That being said, I do recommend this book if you're a thriller person. Like, this is all the fun of a thriller. I thought the audiobook was great. There's 2 narrators, which was fun. And yeah, it was fun to be like fed information and like led in different directions. But yeah, just expect the ending to be like a lot. a lot. But yeah, it was fun. It was fun. This one is only age appropriate for those over the age of 18. So if for some reason you're a child watching this video, I'm not sure why, but head on out because we're done here. Okay, and this is Unhinged by Only James. This is the first book in the Necessary Evil series, and everybody in my life has been begging me to read this all year, and I finally listened to the first audiobook. And what is the Necessary Evil series, you ask? Okay, so picture this. We're introduced to Thomas Mulvaney, and he is about to adopt a young boy named Adam. And Adam is a sociopath, and he has been told by doctors that he will remain a sociopath and unsafe for society. But Thomas Mulvaney says, I can fix him, sort of. Not really. He says, I can use him. And he adopts him and 6 others like him who are also psychopaths/sociopaths. And he trains them to be vigilantes. So he basically trains these boys to be murderers, but only to those who deserve it. Pedos and bad guys, basically. So they have like essentially like a Garcia from Criminal Minds who does like research into these like bad guys and then creates alibis for them so they can go and like murder these guys without getting caught. So that's plot line 1, which is really interesting in itself. Plot line 2, okay? Follow. There's a guy named Noah, and he stalks Adam as an adult, and he's like, you killed my father, I'm gonna kill you, or whatever. And then Adam has to tell him, like, no, dude, like, your father was, like, a really bad guy and did some really gross stuff. And then Noah's like, oh, damn. Trauma unlocked. And he says, never mind, I'm not gonna kill you, Adam. Learns about who Adam actually is. And then they bone. Okay. So now you figured it out. This is a part thriller series, part gay smut. Woohoo! Okay, and that's what you're gonna get. Okay? I've only read the first book in the series, but this is what you get. You get plot sex, plot sex, plot sex, plot sex. And it's great. It's awesome. It's a great balance of a really dark but fun plot and some really spicy stuff happening that normally might be considered fucked up. But in the context of this, I consider it to be really great. So I recommend this to anybody looking for gay smut. Next. And you already know about this, but I read the first 2 books in the Dungeon Crawler Carl series. Obviously, I made a full reading vlog of the first book. I've also recorded a reading vlog of the second book. If it's published before this video, then you know about it, and if it's not, then it's coming, okay? So I won't say too much because I've already said a lot about both those books, but I loved them. If you are looking for something to take you out of the hellhole that is being alive, I recommend these books a ton because they're just so fun. There's so much going on. There's so much creativity, so much room to be imaginative, and there's a little bit of like rebelliousness to it, a little bit of drama. The characters are great. Carl and Princess Donut, the cat who can talk. Hello. We love it. Okay? And if you don't know what Dungeon Crawler Carl is, it's a lit RPG book, which basically is an RPG video game in book form. I don't think I've ever played an RPG game, but I enjoy the book version. It's great. It reminded me a lot of Ready Player One. Also reminded me a lot of the Hunger Games. So if you liked either of those, then you will like this. And I'm fully committed to the rest of the series. I just have other books to get to before I start number 3. But hopefully in November I will. Lastly, and this is another, you know about this. I just also posted a reading vlog of this book, so I won't say too much about it, but We Love You, Bunny, the sequel to the book Bunny by Mona Awad. That was a pretty spoiler heavy video, so if you haven't watched it but you've read Bunny, I definitely recommend this book. It has fair critiques, but it's still quite fun and great to be back in the world of Bunny. And I will say that once you get to part 2, something will happen and it will be the best part of the book. I don't want to say anything more than that, but there is a character who is introduced, whose perspective you get, and it's fantastic. It's so fun to read, you'll gobble it up. Yeah, so there are highs and lows in this book. It's a lot longer than Bunny. It didn't make me feel like as much as Bunny did, but I still really enjoyed it. I think if she writes a third book, I'll read that as well. Yeah, it actually kind of threw a lot of my theories about Bunny out the window, which is interesting, and made everything that happened in that book actually feel more plausible in a way. So yeah, if you're considering picking up the sequel, I recommend it. Know that it will not be as amazing as Bunny was. If you loved Bunny, it's not going to reach the expectations, but I think that you will still have fun and you will still enjoy it, especially that part that I was talking about that I don't want to spoil for you. So yeah, that's it. Those are the books I read in October. I feel like it was a really good reading month. And get this, I made a TBR, okay? I stuck to said TBR. For the first time in my whole reading life, I did that. Well, okay. I also... Wait. There's another book I want to talk about. I read some of Skeleton Crew by Stephen King. Oh my god, I almost forgot. Because I'm still currently reading it. Here's what I want to say about Skeleton Crew. And I've only read up to the jaunt. So I think like maybe a third of it. Here's what I want to say about it. I picked this up and I thought, okay, it's October. I'm going to read a short story here and there in between other books. The problem with that plan is that The Mist is the first story in this book. I wanted to read it in order just to be simple. And The Mist is a quarter of the book. It's 150 pages. So it made it kind of difficult to like take the approach of reading a short story here and there until I got through The Mist, which I found to be okay. I wasn't invested in it and it took me like 15 days to get through while reading other books, which is crazy for 150 pages. The movie's great. I thought the movie was really, really good. And the movie ending was insane. Truly insane. So if you want to read it before watching the movie, then do that. But you could also just watch the movie, to be honest. But yeah, the Monkey I read earlier this year. And again, the movie is better. They did the story way better in the movie. I do want to talk about The Jaunt. The Jaunt was crazy. That's the last one I've read in this book so far, but it's like essentially there's a teleportation device that it's called the Jaunt that can take you from one place to the other, and it tells you like how it was invented, and it's told because these parents are doing a jaunt with their children and they're telling them how it came to be, how it works essentially, and that the ending of that one is haunting. That is like pure Stephen King right there. So anyways, I stuck to my TBR in the sense that I read some of Skeleton Crew. I'm gonna continue reading them, but like they're short stories, so who knows when I'll finish it. But that's the only one on my list that I didn't officially finish in October, but every other one I started and finished, and that's cool. So I'm gonna see if I stick to that in November. So this has been Book Yaps with Ash, October edition. Thanks for tuning in, thanks for tuning out, and don't forget to make a tea later. I've been drinking peppermint tea before going to bed and having less heartburn. That's what's not going on with me, and if there's something cool going on with you, let me know in the comments. Alright, goodbye. That's it.